to Charm Chats.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
And Kat.
Today we're covering episode 414, The Three Faces of Phoebe.
Yes. This one aired on February 14th, 2002, but it's not a Valentine's Day episode.
Mm-hmm.
Though it is the 14th episode airing on the 14th, which was kind of cool.
Finally! I remember complaining about that.
Yep.
When they did the Valentine's Day episode. Because I'm like, you guys missed a fucking opportunity. And honestly, they've missed it again.
Yep. This is not a Valentine's episode.
No.
This one is an episode that I do not remember.
Yeah, and I couldn't recognize based on the title, but once I saw the synopsis, I was like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah. No, even the synopsis for me, I was like, I have no idea what's coming.
Well, that's more typical of you.
It is true.
There are very few episodes where I could read the synopsis and be like, huh?
Yeah.
Although Netflix does more vague shit now.
Which I'm kind of okay with.
I'm okay with, but like, it's not quite to the point. I know, on the DVR for Magicians, literally the description is like, what?
So-and-so does such and such.
Like,
yeah.
Julia
so
eats a muffin.
So
Quentin has a drink. Like, what?
Yeah, I'm so far behind on the Magicians. I'll get there.
You'll get there.
I've been concentrating on other things.
Yeah, I figured.
You know.
Still, you should watch. It's a good season.
Yeah. I'll get there. I
know.
I will binge them.
I know. I am encouraging you to get there.
Yes. I will binge many episodes in a row.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's only 10, so.
Yes.
Easy binge.
Yeah, exactly. I did a bit of a binge with American Gods.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched the last one that was recorded, but I binged like 4 in a row there.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen season 1, so I can't really watch season 2.
You should totally get on that one.
I borrowed the book once from a guy I went on a date with because I met him while I was working at the liquor store. And he saw the book I was reading, and so we chatted about it. But I didn't read the book, and then he's like, hey, can I get that back? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I literally just had him meet me at work so I could hand it back to him. And his last name was saved in my phone because I didn't remember his last name. I don't remember if he told me. Yoda shirt. Because that's what he was wearing when I met him.
Well, there you go.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then I saw him pop up on Facebook because his number was still on my phone. So Facebook is like, oh, you're friends with this person, right? And I'm like, no, nope. I am not.
Nope.
But apparently we have a mutual friend. That's weird.
I mean, you know, you never know. See, for me, I'm just annoyed with Instagram at the moment because it keeps trying to get me to follow my dead uncle. And
ooh, awkward.
Yeah. Like, I literally went into Instagram at like 1 o'clock in the morning because I was going to bed and I'm like looking at my phone, last moment things, and it goes, follow this. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to follow my dead uncle just so you'll stop telling me to follow my dead uncle.
You finally said uncle?
Too soon. Too soon for the joke.
I was waiting a whole minute for it, so not too soon for me.
Yeah, no. Anyway, this episode title is apparently a play on The Three Faces of Eve, which is a movie from 1957 starring Joanne Woodward, and it's about a woman with multiple personalities.
You know, all those sensitive topics that were super well handled in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Although, honestly, better version.
Yeah. And The Three Faces of Eve, I believe the three...
You believe?
I believe, from what I read from the synopsis, is she was Eve White, Eve Black, and Jane.
Let me guess. Eve Black was evil?
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that it was the Three Faces of Eve. Eve Black, Eve White, and Jane.
Well, how else are you going to keep them apart?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe give them completely different names. Although, that does make me think of how Me, Myself, and Irene is not... He has a personality named Irene. It's, this is the girl he's interested in.
Anyway,
we start in that lovely underworld cave we've grown to know and abhor.
mm-hmm.
Cole is there, topless, in black pants, holding a sword, looking fit and sweaty.
Yep.
He kind of looks around. He sees the source standing across the room, hood up, hands out, chanting something.
Yep. Cole kind of creeps toward the source and is about to swing the sword, and then the source turns around and faces him and lifts off his hood.
Well,
and
he also says, wait.
Yeah. And it's Cole under the hood. And Source Cole is all, you don't want to kill me. And then he hits Cole and sends him flying backward. And he lands on the ground, and the sword clatters next to him. And Source, puts out his hand, and the sword flies to his arm.
And he says that he has been reborn in Cole. They're one now. And Cole's like, bitch, I'll fight you. I'll fight you. I'll kill us both before I let you hurt Phoebe.
The source says that he won't have a choice, and then stabs Cole, who screams. And we cut to Phoebe's bedroom as Cole wakes up from his dream with a fright, all sweaty and glistening. And he looks over at Phoebe, who is sleeping fucking soundly, like she took a sleeping pill and is completely knocked out because, he made a noise, he jostled the bed, and she did not move.
She must be used to it by this point.
We go to the opening credits.
Although you'd think that with having to deal with, demons and shit,
that she wouldn't sleep so soundly?
Yeah.
You'd think so. Yeah. But, they killed the source, and so she's having a good night's sleep.
Sure.
We go to the opening credits. We find there is no Daryl this episode. No. In the kitchen at the manor, Piper takes a tray of croissants out of the oven. She is wearing a long-sleeve white shirt covered by an apron and brown leather pants. Her hair is down, and she's got that little cross necklace on. And she drops the croissants into a basket that's on the kitchen island, and I want to be at breakfast at this place.
Oh my god, so much. They've got room for us.
There is an entire bowl of oranges, with at least 4 oranges already being cut and turned into juice, as well as an entire plate of English muffins, and another plate that's overflowing with strawberries, and that's just in the kitchen.
Yeah. She walks over into the dining room, where the table is covered with even more food, including what looks like an entire plate of Eggs Benedict.
Yes. Oh
Leo
my God.
is, of course, sitting at I think that's the foot of the table. He's, of course, got his standard gray t-shirt under a brown kind of gingham button-down and jeans. He is, of course, super excited for food, and Piper's like, why is no one else awake? I thought we were going to celebrate with breakfast.
Yeah. She takes off her apron, and we can see that the shirt has, a puckered detail down the front.
It's like a ruching.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Roman blinds, and I hated it.
I didn't mind it.
I mean, I didn't hate it, but it's I hate Roman blinds, Anyway, Paige orbs in and falls on Piper, knocking her to the ground, which made me laugh so hard.
It was good.
Paige is in black pants under a dress that's a very short dress that looks like a red shirt on top with a tiny little boob pocket, and a small black skirt that's pleated in front and flat in the back. And there's a belt down the middle that is stripes of red, yellow, and blue, and it's held together by a clasp made of pears. I loved that belt. I want that belt.
It certainly is an outfit of the era, I would say.
And the sad part is I would probably wear that now. I actually have a dress that is that short that can only be worn with pants underneath it.
Yeah.
I love that dress, but I want that belt. Mm-hmm. I want that belt. I love pears.
Apparently.
Anyway, her hair is down.
It's kind of wavy.
A little wavy. When they stand up, Piper realizes that Paige orbed in from another room and asks if she's been practicing that.
Paige, of course, says, well, the landing could use some work, but I didn't want to say anything if I didn't know I could do it.
Mm-hmm. And then she notices the food and says that she's starving. And Leo tells her that orbing burns a lot of calories, and that's the reason he married a chef. And that was just a little weird to me. I didn't marry her because I loved her, but I married her because she could feed me. I'm sorry, what now? What?
Yeah.
It was a little weird, that moment.
Yeah, Piper thinks that Paige's powers advancing is just another reason to celebrate, and then Paige asks Leo for the butter.
And she
doesn't
says
ask.
it. Yeah.
She's just like, Leo, butter.
But she says it like that, where in the way that it would normally orb to her, but it doesn't. Because she calls for the butter.
Well, but she says
asking,
Leo first.
Yeah, she's asking Leo for it. So, because she's used all of her Orby powers to orb from upstairs, she doesn't have enough Orby power to just get the butter for herself?
Don't know.
Dunno. Leo passes the butter, tells her to try the frittatas, and Paige slathers butter on an English muffin.
Piper tells them they're welcome, and so Paige thanks her and says that she wants to eat fast so she can get to work on time for a change.
Piper says that they could at least wait for Phoebe and Cole, and then Phoebe walks in. She is wearing blue pajama pants with a flower pattern on them and a white shirt under a peachy orange hoodie with a little horseshoe necklace. And the hair. Oh, the hair. It begins. Her hair has been cut to shoulder length, which is perfectly fine. But her bangs are now like an inch long, and that is about 2.54 centimeters for those using metric. They are so short.
Honestly,
so tiny.
I think they work for her.
They don't look horrible in this particular moment because her hair is down and detracts from it. But I just know the second she pulls her hair back, it's gonna look bullshit. Like, it is not gonna look good. They are so short.
They are very short. They are micro bangs.
They're so bad. Okay.
Yeah, anyway, she says that don't bother, Cole's not there, she needs a caffeine IV, and then she grabs a jug, sits at the table, and pours herself some coffee.
Piper is confused as to why she's the only one happy about their mortal enemy being dead and gone. Paige gets up and puts her arm around Piper, saying that she's thrilled, thanks her for the food, and then runs off.
And at this point, Leo gets summoned by the elders. He grabs a croissant for the road and orbs out.
I don't know why, but that made me laugh so hard. It's like, yes, let me just grab a croissant for the road. You're literally going in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, but it takes calories.
Apparently so.
Phoebe comments on the brightness of the orbs, which kind of makes it seem like she's suffering from a hangover of some kind.
Yeah.
Or like maybe she just had a really bad night's sleep.
Mm-hmm. Though she, slept through Cole having a panic attack, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Piper asks what's wrong with her, and Phoebe says that she went to bed happy, but woke up with a horrible feeling about Cole.
Maybe it's because he was jostling the bed.
Maybe. Piper, of course, questions this, and Phoebe explains that it's like a premonition that can't get out, though it's trying, and that it's not a good thing.
Piper, of course, brushes it off.
As she does with Phoebe.
Yeah, she's just like, you're a bride to be. You've got cold feet. That happens. And the only reason that you haven't been getting married was because of the source, and now he's gone. So the wedding is super on.
Yeah. It's totally real. It's gonna happen now.
Yeah. Phoebe isn't so sure that it isn't something supernatural, though.
Yeah. We cut to the underworld cave as Cole flames in. He's now in what looks to be shades of like a brownish gray under a black leather jacket.
Yeah, like almost a military
it looked
uniform, except like a couple of shades lighter.
Yeah, a little later on when he's at the house, we can kind of see it looked like an olive drab.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it was a little odd.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and of course he looks horrible.
Yeah, he has bags under his eyes.
He's all sweaty.
Yeah.
His hair is super unkempt.
Yeah. He looks around frightened, and then he sees the seer, who is in her normal red robes.
He, of course, asks how he got down there, and she's like, oh, well, the source's magic brought you. And then he tries to choke her out.
Yep.
He's really upset that she didn't tell him he would become the source after vanquishing the source.
And she tells him not to be naive, which I thought was kind of funny.
Of course she fucking lied.
Like, this is just the beginning of my vision of us doing great things together. He then falls to his knees kind of in that, like, dejected way.
Yeah.
She tells him that he can't change his fate because the evil within him won't allow it.
Cole's like, I'll fight it. I'll kill it.
Yeah.
But the seer's like, yeah, there's no way. And the only reason it's taking this long is because of your love for the witch. She keeps using this phrase.
Yeah. She says that it's only a matter of time before the power of the source fully takes him over and protects him from her premonitions. And then she mentions someone named Curzon. And Cole stands up and asks who that is, and she says that he's going to attempt to fill the void left by the death of the source, and that Cole must stop Curzon from, doing that so that he can reclaim the throne.
Cole, of course, doesn't want the throne, but she tells him that he will. He's just not strong enough yet to vanquish Curzon, but the Charmed Ones are.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, she says she'll make him think that the Charmed Ones are after him, so he'll come after them, and then Cole better get the girls prepared to vanquish Curzon first.
Yes. He says that she can't force him to do her bidding, and she's like, yeah, but the source can, and then he flames out, which I thought was kind of funny. Like, that moment was like, yeah, you're not doing my bidding, you're doing his bidding, and he's inside you.
And also, I know what he wants, so I will tell you what he wants, and then he will do it.
Yeah.
Which kind of gives the effect of her ordering him around.
A little bit, yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. We then cut to the upstairs bathroom in the manor, and Cole flames in by the shower. He goes over to the mirror. He does not look well at all.
And then he leaves the bathroom only to startle Phoebe as she's walking up.
She is no longer wearing the hoodie. She has now changed her top. We don't see that she has also changed the bottoms. We'll get there later. She is now in a long sleeve pale pink shirt that has a small tie closure at the front. It was an interesting top. Like, that little closure at the front was not needed at all. It was really totally just there for decoration. It was just a
penis collar.
Yeah, it was just there for decoration.
Yeah. Cole apologizes. She says she didn't hear him come in. He's like, oh, I just got back. And she's like, from where? And he's like, yeah, I just had to get out of the house for a bit.
Yeah. She asks if they need to talk. He starts to answer, but then his head apparently hurts. She goes to touch him out of concern, but he pulls away. And he's like, it's just a migraine. And he walks off. Phoebe then sighs as Piper enters the hallway and asks what's wrong. And Phoebe's like, I wish I knew. Which I immediately was like, don't wish, don't do it. You know how wishes act badly.
You specifically know how wishes work that way. We then find ourselves with a group of what we can assume are demons. The one talking with the British accent is assumed to be Curzon.
So I shall tell you about him. The actor is Harry von Gorkum. It's a good name. His IMDb bio, which he wrote himself, says he was born in London, but provides no other details. He has 87 acting credits so far, starting back in 1989.
And Curzon is busy telling this group of demons that their enemy is dead, and their exile is nearing its end. He tells them to complete their tasks, and then they'll be able to return home. And the demons all start disappearing, like, one by one. Leaving only Curzon and one last dude with some curly hair. Yeah, now, I don't believe this demon ever gets a name in the show, but IMDb listed him as Jax. Jax. Cool.
Yeah. Played by Andrew Abelson, whose father was the legendary singer Frankie Vaughan. He was also born in London, though in this show he is not using any sort of accent, London or otherwise. It is a very Midwestern American. He's got 60 acting credits so far, starting back in 1996. The seer then walks in and tells Curzon that he will not live to rule the underworld. He's like, you seen something? and she tells him that a single powerful witch will be after him and he needs to kill her while she's still vulnerable. Jax, of course, says that her loyalty is with the last source. Don't trust her. Which, sound advice. Yeah. And Curzon's like, why do you want to help me? She says that she's always allied herself with ultimate power, and that if he kills the witch, nothing can stop him from becoming the next source. Honestly, that's kind of the truth. Yeah. I mean, at this point, she's kind of playing both sides in the whichever one comes out, at least I'll be here. But also, it's a huge lie. Yes. Over at South Bay Social Services, Mr. Cowan is sitting at his desk as Paige walks in. Now, quick fast track of this scene. He says he's promoting her to social worker, with the Carolyn Selden case being the thing that got her the job over Scott, who had been there longer. This means that she'll have a more flexible work schedule, and he's already told Scott, don't worry about it. She's, of course, worried about personal gain since she had used magic to help Carolyn, but thanks him and walks off. Scott congratulates her as she walks past his desk. She thanks him and then sits at her desk with a sigh and a groan. Scott is played by Christian Kyber. He was born in 1970 in North Carolina. He's got 36 acting credits so far, starting back in 1994. And spoiler, he will be back in seasons 5 and 6 as a different character. Cool. Yeah. We then jump over to the attic at the manor. And we have our first glaringly obvious continuity error or telling clue with the Book of Shadows. Phoebe is looking at the Balthazar page, which is still on the right side of the book, but where she had written about Cole on the left side, there's now the spell to summon Balthazar.
Yeah.
So either they really just don't care about continuity in the show, or the Book of Shadow just changes via magic whenever they need.
Yeah.
Which, might explain why they have to look through the book several times, even though they've read the thing from cover to cover repeatedly.
See, now if this were a device that were stated up fucking top,
Yup.
we would not keep harping on this.
Yup.
But since it was never mentioned, all we can do is be like, that's different.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where the Book of Shadows kind of makes me feel like they spent so much money on this prop that they have to use it every single episode.
Yeah.
And it's
which is funny, because they have repeat pages in it.
Yeah. But it's like, I understand if they had just been like, well, the Book of Shadows, it only shows us what we need to know when we need to know it. Then I'd kind of been okay with it.
Yeah.
But, like, we saw her full out writing an entire side about Cole, the human side, on the page to the left, and now
taping in
that's gone.
Photo booth pictures.
Yeah. Like, I'm so confused. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Grams, explain!
Yeah. Well, because the other thing is, like, Balthazar's dead, so why is that page still in the book? Or why isn't there, like, some sort of caveat of, don't worry, he's dead at the bottom?
Or, yeah, like, didn't Piper go through and, like, X out some pages before?
Uh-huh. Yeah, like, there's so many questions with the Book of Shadows.
And never any answers.
Never any answers. Anyway, speaking of Piper, she comes in asking why Phoebe is in the attic. Phoebe says that she's been thinking about Cole. Piper's like, yeah, well, he's human, so you're not going to find any answers in the book. But Phoebe says she needs to find answers somewhere because she's getting scared.
Piper still thinks this is about marriage, cold feet, but Phoebe is like, no, it's got to be more than that. Piper, of course, asks if Phoebe's talked to Cole. She says she's tried, but he keeps avoiding her, like he did when he was Balthazar.
Yeah, which she puts emphasis on by pointing at the page in the book. Piper reminds her that Balthazar is dead, and that Cole is a human that she loves more than anything else in the world.
No. Phoebe, of course, agrees, but doesn't understand why she's so confused all of a sudden.
Piper wonders what good is being a witch if they can't use a little magic when they're hurting. Phoebe is, of course, surprised that Piper would suggest such a thing, and worries about the personal gain aspect of it.
Piper says, oh, you can avoid that. Just word the spell properly.
Yeah.
And then be pure and ask your heart for the answer.
Piper then warns Phoebe not to tell Paige because she doesn't want her to know that she can do that too, and she leaves the attic. Foreshadowing. Yes, it is foreshadowing because it's not foreshadowing because we've already seen Paige have the personal gain thing.
True.
So it is foreshadowing. Anyway.
We cut to the foyer as Paige walks in through the front door.
She takes off her brown jacket. She throws it on the hall table with her purse as Piper comes down the stairs. And Paige is like, I hate it when you're right.
Piper's like, really? Because I love that.
Yeah. She tells her that the spell she used to help Carolyn the week before had a small side effect of getting her promoted.
Which really isn't her fault.
This is true.
It was someone else's decision. Yes, the fact that she did a spell and made things happen influenced that, but, like, she didn't do it with that in mind.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
I think that would avoid personal gain right away. I mean, yeah, should she feel a little bad about it? Yeah.
But she didn't do it with the intention of helping herself. She did it with the intention of helping Carolyn.
Yes.
So I personally don't think that this is a personal gain consequence, but yeah, whatever.
Anyway, she stops Piper from beating her up about the personal gain, says she's already done that, and then Curzon appears behind Piper in the dining room over by the window.
Paige cries out, "Demon!" and pushes Piper to the floor, and she kind of like knocks her head a little on the wall as she goes down.
And then Curzon throws an energy ball. Paige, of course, calls for it. It orbs to her hand, and she tosses it back at him, but completely fucking misses.
Yeah, she takes out the vase on the table. It continues on to hit whatever was on the buffet under the window.
And then he throws another, and she orbs out, so it takes out a light fixture over
on the wall behind her.
Yeah. By that armoire under the stairs.
Armoire.
Back where they used to have a bathroom.
Yeah. You know, little things. She orbs back in mid-air.
Over by that armoire.
Yeah, and then falls to the floor.
Piper, of course, takes notice and uses her power to blow Curzon up, but it's not powerful enough, and he reassembles. He's super pissed that there are 2 witches, and disappears after yelling, "Damn her!"
Yeah.
And Piper's just kind of like, oh no.
Yeah.
She gets up, checks on Paige, who says her ego is bruised, but she is fine.
Piper thinks this is all a bit odd, calls for Leo, who orbs in and asks what happened. And Paige is like, same old, demon tried to kill us. Which I thought was very funny. But Piper's like, it was a powerful demon, strangely source-like. And wonders if they can't just get a freaking day off.
Mm-hmm. Leo says that the Elder summoned him because the source's death has created a power vacuum, so killing the Charmed Ones would mean direct ascension to the throne.
Paige wonders that if that means that killing the source meant nothing, but Leo's like, no, it set evil back some decades, but, you're still targets, because you're the fucking Charmed Ones.
Yep.
Piper says that she found it a little insulting that the demon didn't seem to know who they were, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And Leo's like, well, he knows now, so you need to figure out who he was before he comes back. And they all run off to the attic.
Yeah. Cut to the attic, where Phoebe is sitting at a table. She writes, "Should I marry Cole?" on a piece of blue paper, and scrunches it up. Yes, it was blue. As she stands up, we can finally see that she's paired this lovely pink top with brown kind of suede pants and a large brown belt.
A very, thick brown belt.
Yeah.
It was, and I said it was holding up her pants. It wasn't holding up her pants. It was just there for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Because the belt buckle, it starts out in the front and kind of works its way to the side throughout the episode. It winds up over her over her right hip by the end of the episode. It's very funny. And the pink top, we can actually see, also has the little ties at the wrists.
Yep.
So the ties are totally just there for decoration.
Totally.
Anyway,
she lights this cigar-scrunched paper over the flame of a candle and then speaks the spell.
"Where love is strong, my spirit weak, it is an answer that I seek. The question burns within this fire, so I may hear my heart's desire."
And all of the others walk in just as she's dropping this burning paper into the bowl that they use for burning shit. It does a little explode. She gasps, and she turns around to see the other people come in as 2 tunnels of wind appear in the attic.
Yeah.
On the other side of the table.
Yep. Phoebe notices that the others are there. And we see, through this wind, an old woman and a little girl appear. The old woman is wearing a patterned sweater over a blue button-down shirt tucked into a dark skirt. She is played by Frances Bay. Born in 1919 in Canada, she died in California in 2011 at the age of 92. She's a bit of a that guy.
That lady.
Yeah, well. She has 169 acting credits between 1976 and 2014, with that final acting credit from some Twin Peaks thing that aired after she died. The young girl is in dark jeans with a long-sleeve purple and white striped buttoned polo shirt.
3/4 length sleeve.
She is played by Samantha Goldstein. She has no picture on IMDb and only has 4 acting credits, one of which is credited as self, between 1999 and 2004. Her first role was playing a 4-year-old Anne in the movie Anywhere But Here, which meant she was playing a young Natalie Portman.
Nah.
And if you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it. Very good movie. It's also got Susan Sarandon in it.
Okay.
Very good movie. She then played a character named Rebecca in the movie Fire Trap with Dean Cain before this role on Charmed. And her self-credited role is from a show called Monster House, which was a reality TV show about home remodeling where the homeowners get to pick the theme, but then have no other say in the design process. And her house's theme was Surfer Girl. That is all the info I could find about it. I couldn't even find a clip on YouTube about it, and it made me sad. But I remember this show because the designers, quote unquote, on the show, some of them are actual professional designers, and some are not. And it's really fucking funny. The one that sticks out was the mad scientist.
Ooh.
And they literally painted the house all sorts of different colors, and all of the kitchenware became beakers, and I'm just okay, that would be kind of cool as a kitschy thing, but not my entire frickin' kitchen being turned into a lab.
Yeah. I remember one episode of Trading Spaces where at the end they have the couple come back in and the woman's just like, no, I hate this.
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did you do all of this?
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, that's always the worry when you do these extreme home remodelings. Like now, for like something in the lines of Love It or List It or Queer Eye, like they're trying to work within a budget and they're trying to make it useful.
Yeah.
But
they're trying to make it look good. They're not trying to be sensationalist.
Yes.
Like
now, granted, Bobby does often run with a theme, but he doesn't run very far.
Yeah.
He just reduces the amount of shit in your house and then makes it look nice.
Yeah.
Whereas Love It or List It, they're just like, we gotta put storage. We just gotta have storage.
The American version, Trading Spaces, has Hildy.
Yes.
Who
She the blonde one?
No, she's the brunette.
Oh, okay.
And she is the one where, like, I would love to work with her because she's just out of the box crazy, but I would not want her working on my house. The one thing that I remember that she did was in a bathroom, just remember that, bathroom, she put fake flowers on an entire wall. Glued them. Hot glued them to a wall.
No.
And my very first thought, and my mother's first thought was the same thing as, how do you dust that, first of all?
You don't.
You don't. But it's in a bathroom. That's gonna get gross.
Yeah. It's just so you don't have proper ventilation.
Yeah. Like, it's... No. But there was the British version was called Changing Rooms.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the Hildy counterpart on that show, like the one who started it all. It was something very posh and like obnoxious sounding, and I just can't think of it right this second.
Mildred.
No.
Millicent.
No. It was a guy.
Oh, it was a guy?
Yeah. Fuck.
Charles.
No, hold on, pause. Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen. He was very much the flamboyant one, whatever. And there was one episode where he gave this couple a bedroom that was in shades of like red and black and whatever. And the couple walked into the room. They were shown the room for the first time. And I do believe the two phrases that were immediately rememberable were, "It looks like a tart's boudoir," and "I'll need a can of white emulsion." Like, just gonna cover it back with white paint because fuck this.
Oh boy.
It was
too intense for them.
Yeah, it was so... It really
too
was.
intense for their British sensibilities.
Yeah, it was so flamboyant. It was just nuts.
Yeah, the videos you showed me, he comes off as kind of a Simon Cowell
he's a little
person.
He's a little nuts. He's very particular.
A Simon Cowell mixed with a Gordon Ramsay, I would say.
Yeah. I enjoy
with
that.
With a little bit of, like, David Mitchell flair thrown in.
Yeah, but he's very much a little bit got that Gordon Ramsay because when he gets down to kids, he's not as mean. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the one clip you showed me with the kids, the girl totally schooled him on why the colors in that room all work together. And he's like, am I out of a job?
Yeah, it was very funny. Anyway, the old woman asks how she got there, which Piper thinks is an excellent question. And then the old woman asks Phoebe what she did.
Phoebe asks who she is, and the woman wonders why she doesn't recognize her. "I'm you," she says.
Yeah.
"I'm Phoebe." And then the little girl is like, "That's my name too."
Which makes me wonder why Phoebe didn't recognize her younger self. Because, you know, she might not have recognized the older one because I haven't seen myself your age, but you have fucking pictures of you that age.
Yeah, but like, if 3-year-old me just appeared in the middle of a room, I'd be like, what's this kid doing here?
Really? You wouldn't recognize 3-year-old you?
No, I would, but it would take a minute. I don't see little... Have you noticed how I don't have any photos of me, like, around out?
This is true, but this
I don't see photos of
this
me
little
all that
girl
often,
is like
especially
10
at that
years
age.
old. This is the thing. This girl is like 10 years old. If I saw myself 10 years old, I'd been like, why is there a 10-year-old version of me here? Mm-hmm. I would immediately know it was me. I could see, and this is the other funny part, right? And I understand because it's Hollywood, it's actors and whatever. But I would immediately see an old woman who would look like my grandmother and be like, are you you're not my grandmother. You're close to looking like my grandmother. You're not my mother. Fuck, you're probably an older me. Because I, like, the facial features of my family
are very distinctive, yes.
Are very distinctive. So, I don't know. It was just a little odd to me, before we go to commercial break, that she didn't at least recognize her younger self.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Well, also, when I was 11, my face didn't look like my face. I've seen photos, and I'm just like, what? Why? What? Huh? Mm-hmm. Huh? Something's going on. This looks like a changeling. And it's weird. And I don't like what's happening. And then, like, it doesn't happen, like, the year before. It doesn't happen the year after. Like, I start looking more like myself as the time goes on. But just this 1 year when I'm, like, 11 is when my face does a weird thing because puberty, and I cannot recognize myself. It's super funky. Yeah. Granted, I also can't recognize young photos of my father until I frame it as, that guy looks like my brother.
Interesting.
My dad's face shape changed a hell of a lot as he got older. So, like, yeah.
Okay.
Also, the transition between teenage him and adult him that I knew as a child, he had a lot of hair. And it covered up his face. So I didn't get to see the facial transition as it goes through.
There you go. Anyway, so we come back from commercial break, right where we left off, with young Phoebe seemingly frightened of this whole situation.
Of course, current Phoebe tells her she doesn't need to be scared, and then asks Piper for ideas.
Piper tells her that it's her spell. Phoebe's like, yeah, but it was your idea, which Paige questions. And then young Phoebe makes her way over to the window, reminding you that they're in the attic.
Yeah. Older Phoebe says that they might want to stop her before she climbs out the window, and then present Phoebe runs over and grabs her before she gets completely out.
She closes and locks the window and tells young Phoebe that she's, dreaming. Everything's fine. You'll wake up in your bed and everything will be normal.
Yeah. Young Phoebe's like, I'm 10, not stupid, and then yells for Grams and runs out of the attic.
Cole walks in, asking what's going on, as Piper remarks that she didn't miss the whole Phoebe yelling and running away thing. Old Phoebe sees him. He asks who she is. She says, maybe this will refresh your memory, then walks over and slaps him across the face and calls him a bastard.
Yep.
Ah, glorious.
Mm-hmm. Present Phoebe then asks what all this was about. Old Phoebe tells her to ask Cole, and Leo reminds them that they should go look for a younger version before she escapes into 2002.
Piper's like, yeah, we'll do that, while Phoebe talks to her future self and tells her to fix it fast. Cole seems a bit confused. Leo asks about the demon, and Piper tells Phoebe that they were attacked downstairs, and Paige goes over to the Book of Shadows to start looking. Cole, of course, then asks how future Phoebe got there, and current Phoebe is like, well, I kind of cast a spell to hear my heart's desire, and my past and future selves showed up to help me listen.
He asks what desire she wanted to hear about. She says, that's between me and me. And then she and the older version of herself leave the attic.
Paige wonders if Cole can help them figure out who the demon that can reconstitute himself like the Source could be, but Cole flames out before she turns around to notice that he's gone. And apparently the flaming didn't make any sound at all, because she just kind of looks up and laments that no one is there to help her.
Mm-hmm. Well, she was also talking through it, so.
True.
We pop to the underworld cave as Cole flames in. The seer welcomes him back. He's like, I didn't want to come. She tells him, the Source is getting stronger within him. There must be something he wants to tell her.
Cole says that it might be that her plan is going to fail because Phoebe conjured her future self in order to learn what he couldn't tell her. Oh, yeah. Cole. Mm-hmm. Just give the seer every information she needs.
Yeah. The seer says that good witches are overly cautious by nature, and that her future self won't say anything that might make it worse in order to preserve the future.
Cole asks how she knows that. She says that she's been a seer longer than he's been the Source. He says he's not the Source. And she says that he will be soon because it's his destiny.
He grabs her, says his destiny is to be with Phoebe, and nothing will change that.
She tells him that his love won't be enough to save him, and that Curzon will be attacking again soon. So she tells him to hurry back if he wants them to survive, and then he flames out, and she turns back to her candles and her eyes go white. So she's looking at the future.
Mm-hmm. We cut to the manor in Phoebe's bedroom. Old Phoebe picks up a top that is very skimpy. It is one of those, like, handkerchief tops, spaghetti straps, ivory boob cups, sheer lace at the bottom, red flower decal, and it just ties in the back. Like, it's not even all the way around. It just ties in the back with a thin string.
It has, like two little pieces of fabric that then ties.
What did
enough
Natalie,
fabric to go around the sides.
What did Natalie call this? Braless, strapless,
fearless attire.
Yes.
Yeah.
She then laughs and talks about the good old days, and then tells current Phoebe that no one will take us seriously until she stops dressing like a tramp.
Now, the word tramp actually started out to mean a long-term homeless person who travels from place to place, and most female tramps were often regarded as prostitutes, so the word came to mean a promiscuous woman, at least in America.
Yeah, and nowadays the word is mostly used in conjunction with the word stamp.
Yes, meaning a tramp stamp, which is a lovely tattoo on your lower back.
I prefer to call them a lumbar logo.
That is amazing.
It's alliterative, it is descriptive, it tells you where it goes, and it's not slut-shamey.
I like that immensely. I still won't get one, but I like that immensely.
Well, I won't get one either, but it's a lumbar logo.
Yeah. Current Phoebe tells older Phoebe that top is so in right now. I had to laugh.
That's not the argument you want to make, Phoebes.
Yeah, not so much. But older Phoebe tells her that she'll learn, and current Phoebe kind of is like, learn what?
Old Phoebe ignores her and picks up a photo album, sits on the bed, opens it, and says they had such promise.
So, quick fast track. Phoebe asks what happened to her in the future, saying that she doesn't have time for games because there's a demon.
Old Phoebe says she knows plenty about demons, and so current Phoebe asks her about the bad feelings she has about Cole.
Old Phoebe says that she remembers but refuses to change the past.
Phoebe asks if they divorced, if he cheats on her, or if they never get married in the first place.
Old Phoebe asks why she thinks they aren't married, and Phoebe's like, well, you're not wearing a wedding ring, and then reminds her that the spell wouldn't have worked if she wasn't allowed to tell her.
Old Phoebe says that she needs to make the decision without magic and asks for Leo to send her back as soon as possible while she stays in the bedroom out of the path of history.
She then reminds current Phoebe that once their mind is made up, there's no changing it.
We then hear the sounds of young Phoebe singing, "Row, row, row your boat."
Yeah.
From downstairs.
Yeah, it is a nursery rhyme that's been around since 1852.
Yeah, and we cut downstairs as young Phoebe is hiding behind a plant, blocking her ears, and singing it in like 3 different keys.
Yeah.
She starts it off in one key, and then she doesn't go high enough for merrily, and then she doesn't end on a tonic, even for the merrily bit that she was doing, and then she repeats it, and it's in a different key now. Like, what?
Yeah.
Child.
Yeah, yeah. Piper, of course, groans as young Phoebe starts the song again, and current Phoebe walks in holding the photo album.
She asks if they're having trouble, and Piper says it's enough to make her reconsider having children, and wonders if they should lie to her again.
Phoebe says that she has a better idea, and she walks over to her younger self. Young Phoebe tells her to stay away or she'll sick Prue on her, and Piper looks at current Phoebe as like, yeah, don't go there. like don't mention the whole Prue thing to your younger self. That might not be a good idea.
Yeah.
Current Phoebe tells young Phoebe to listen, and she says that she's safe in the house, commenting that it is, her house, and reminding her that Graham's talks about magic all the time and says that anything is possible as long as you believe in it.
Young Phoebe seems to get this, and current Phoebe tells her that magic brought her to the future. She then introduces Piper and Leo, and the younger self is all aghast and agog, and gets her younger self to realize that she is her.
Current Phoebe shows young Phoebe the photo album, which apparently was given to them by Dad.
Yeah.
At some point.
At Christmas, I think they said.
Yeah. Current Phoebe tells her that it starts with pictures of a young Phoebe and continues into pictures of current Phoebe. And then she offers her the album, and young Phoebe takes it and goes to sit on the couch to look through it. And she is sitting on the couch that is facing away.
Yeah.
Phoebe is, of course, happy to have gotten through to at least one of her cells, but laments that the old woman has nothing familiar to her, and she's not sure how she got so mean.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, old woman is much further in age away from current Phoebe than young Phoebe is.
This is correct.
Because for young Phoebe, this would be about 1982-ish. And so, it's only been about 20 years for her, but it's probably been closer to, 50 for old Phoebe.
Yeah.
Leo asks if she has any idea how to reverse the spell. Phoebe says that the old version of her doesn't remember even casting it. And Leo's like, well, the future changes with every choice we make.
He also says that some choices change it more than others, but reminds her that they're both there for a reason.
Phoebe wonders what that reason is, and Piper says it's to help her listen to her heart. And Leo tells her that they won't return to their times until she does.
Phoebe says that old Phoebe isn't going to let go of her grudge with Cole, just as Cole walks in.
Young Phoebe turns around and immediately clues in on Nicole, and she's like, ooh, who is this? Mm-hmm. And of course, current Phoebe's like, this is our fiance, and she sparkles her little ring.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
And then young Phoebe is, of course, like, oh, what? He's our prince?
He sweeps us off our feet?
Cole is very chuffed about this.
Yeah. Piper laughs, and Phoebe explains that Cinderella was her favorite story growing up, but she'd apparently forgotten that.
Uh-huh.
Little things.
Leo says that she might be there to remind Phoebe of such things. And then young Phoebe smiles at Cole. And Nicole says that current Phoebe might want to help Paige figure out who the visitor was before he drops in again.
Leo thinks that's a good idea. Phoebe tells her younger self that they'll be back, and she asks Cole to keep her company. She then kisses him on the cheek, and they all leave.
And then young Phoebe smiles up at Cole again, and
he
just
looks
says,
at her and goes, Hi. It was the funniest moment.
I mean, clearly her boy craziness started very young.
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
This is the only way I find young girl crushing on older man to be, funny and acceptable, is if it's literally a younger version of older person.
Yes.
There was that one episode of Star Trek, Rascals, I believe it was called, where Picard, Guinan, and Keiko all get, turned into younger versions of themselves. So they're all, 12 or something. And Keiko goes home to her husband, Chief O'Brien, and has to, take care of their daughter. And she's just, a little girl, and she's trying to act normal, hey, I'm married, I'm an adult. But she just looks so little. And, of course, this makes O'Brien super uncomfortable. He's like, my wife is a child, what is going on? I'm just like, this is funny. I love this. This is great.
Yes.
I don't know why people hate that episode. It's fucking hilarious. It has Picard Day, of all things, I think.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a very long time.
I know. It might not have Picard Day, but it does have some really great fake tantruming Picard.
Good to know.
Oh, I gotta watch that again.
We find ourselves with Curzon as the seer appears. He spins around pointing a sword at her. He is, of course, pissed that she sent him after the Charmed Ones. And she's like, well, I only saw one witch. How was I to know who she was?
Not like I've met them or anything.
Mm-hmm. He says it's going to cost her her life. She tells him not to be foolish and says that she can help him destroy the Power 3 in one simple move and make him the next source. Jax thinks that it's another trick.
Jax is fucking right.
Yep.
The seer asks why she would risk her life to trick him again, and Curzon puts down the sword. Because he's an idiot.
Yeah, well.
She tells him that one of the witches cast a spell to bring her past self to the present. So all he needs to do is kill the child to take out the witch, which will therefore take out the Charmed Ones.
Yep. I mean, it's good, solid logic.
It is good, solid logic.
It's Back to the Future logic, which works out well. You get rid of the young one, and then they can't become the old one.
Uh-huh. In the attic of the manor, the girls and Leo are looking at the Curzon page on in the Book of Shadows.
Phoebe reads that it says, Curzon is an enemy of the Source who was banished from the underworld for inciting a failed coup.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand why they didn't just kill him, and Leo says, it probably wasn't that easy. You'll need the power of 3.
Paige wonders why he's not their ally if he's an enemy of the Source, and Piper's like, yeah, he's still evil, he's just a different kind of evil.
And then we hear a surprisingly loud little Phoebe scream downstairs, and everyone goes running.
Cut to the living room as young Phoebe screams and then faints.
Curzon goes to throw an energy ball at her.
Cole, who has removed his jacket, steps in the way and then tells him to leave the little girl alone as the energy ball hits him.
Curzon looks surprised because he thought Balthazar was dead. Cole says he is. He reaches a hand around behind him and a dagger materializes, like a little Chris knife.
Yeah.
Materializes in his hand and he throws it at Curzon. No, it hits him in the stomach.
Like dead in the stomach. Just straight in the middle. Good little gut punch. But Curzon doesn't even flinch.
He pulls it out. He's like, it'll take more than that to stop me. So Cole throws a fireball at him, knocking him backwards into a table.
That brings our furniture annihilation quotient up to 12 for the season and 61 for the series.
Curzon gets back up, recognizes the Source as Piper, Phoebe, Paige, and Leo all run down the stairs. Curzon then does his little, like, bowed head fade out.
Mm-hmm. But Phoebe notices Curzon.
Yeah.
Like, dead stop on the stairs, sees him, and then he does the disappearing thing and she runs over.
Yeah.
Crying out for Cole, but then runs over to her younger self. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was very funny. She cries out for Cole and then is like, fuck, I'm passed out on the couch.
Yeah. Cole tells her that her younger self just fainted. Then young Phoebe comes to. Phoebe asks if she's okay, and then young Phoebe looks up and says that Cole saved her.
And we go to commercial break.
We come back a few minutes later in the living room. Everyone is there, and young Phoebe is explaining that the man came out of nowhere.
Paige hands her a glass of water, and young Phoebe thanks her and then asks who she is.
Paige starts to say that she's her sister, but current Phoebe jumps in and says she's their cousin on Mom's side, and Piper adds they think of her like a sister.
Phoebe says that they'll explain when she's older, and I thought that was great.
And I like that Paige wasn't too miffed about this.
Yeah, she kind of was like, I probably shouldn't tell her that I'm your sister, because that would just be very confusing.
Probably also shouldn't tell you that I'm only here because Prue's not.
Yep.
I would have loved to have just like a slight moment where she'd be like, where is Prue? And they'll be like, at work.
Yeah, exactly.
She's at work.
Exactly. That was
She's out. She's on a trip. She's with Andy.
Yeah,
somewhere.
That's the only thing.
Actually, they probably could have said she was with Andy, and
it would still be the truth.
Yeah.
But that's literally the only thing that's like, I'll sick Prue on you. Okay, yeah, let's not go there.
She and Andy are like off doing stuff.
Yeah,
dead stuff.
Yeah, they're on a picnic in the clouds. Young Phoebe asks where the scary man went. Current Phoebe says that she doesn't have to worry about him anymore, but Leo isn't so sure of that, saying that they can't risk her running into Curzon again because she's, Phoebe's past.
Phoebe says that Cole saving little Phoebe means he saved current Phoebe too.
And little Phoebe's all like, he loves us, remember? And current Phoebe makes a cute little face of yeah, he does.
As much as I hate how they write for children in this show, this is damn cute.
Yeah. This was super cute.
Mm-hmm. Leo says that he should take little Phoebe somewhere safe, and Paige wonders if Curzon will really come back.
Cole is the one that's like, well, he didn't fulfill his objective and kind of gestures to young Phoebe. And current Phoebe's like, yeah, you're probably right.
She tells her younger self that she needs to go with Leo, and he'll keep her safe. She of course, does not want to leave, but is convinced that it's just for a little while.
She walks over to Leo, who takes her hand and tells her to hold on tight. And she's like, are we going on a plane? And we get one of my favorite lines from him. He goes, no, we're not, but you might see some clouds. And then they orb out. And I was just like, wait, that means that little Phoebe got to see up there before Piper did.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. And she can't even lord it over her, though.
Nope. Paige picks up the glass and heads for the kitchen, but sees the bloody dagger on the floor and picks it up, asking where it came from.
Cole chimes up, saying that it was Curzon's and that he tried to stab him with it, but he was able to get it away from him.
Paige is impressed and suspicious, and Piper wonders why Curzon didn't use his powers on Cole.
Cole deflects, saying that there should be enough blood on the dagger for them to scry for him. And the girls both kind of look a little suspicious at him, but Paige is like, yeah, okay, I'll go get a map and a crystal.
Piper realizes that Curzon would be targeting little Phoebe because killing her ends the Charmed Ones. Phoebe wonders how he even knew about her, and Cole
I love that Cole is like, the seer might have told him. Like, the way that he says it is just like, let me give you this opinion. Phoebe is a little bit annoyed that the seer would be involved, seeing as the seer just helped them, a week ago.
Yeah, and tells Cole to go with Piper to tell her everything he knows about Curzon. Piper asks where she's going, and she replies, I'm gonna go try and knock some sense into myself, which was a bit reminiscent of, I'm going to go yell at myself.
Yeah, a little bit. We cut up to Phoebe's bedroom, and old Phoebe is sitting at the little vanity table and looking at a picture of current Phoebe with Cole, and current Phoebe storms in, and we get a little bit more fast-tracking. Seems to be the way to go here.
Phoebe says that the only way for her to get sent back is to answer the question she asked when she cast the spell, telling her a demon attacked and nearly killed her younger self.
Old Phoebe, of course, understands what that means, but doesn't want to answer the question for fear of changing the future.
Current Phoebe says that she might just have been sent there to change the future because magic happens for a reason, and she's getting a second chance to not become a bitter old lady.
Old Phoebe still refuses. Current Phoebe says that she's doomed them both and walks out of the room. Dun dun dun.
Cut to the conservatory, where Piper is writing a spell, Paige is scrying, and Cole is pacing.
This brings our scrying total up to 8 for the season and 13 for the series.
Piper asks Cole to stop pacing because it's distracting, but he won't.
Phoebe walks in, sits beside Piper, lamenting that she can't get through to her older self.
Cole asks if she said anything about the future, and Phoebe tells him she's worried about the consequences of changing it. Paige says they can't change the future, and Piper's like, yeah, we can. Yeah. Phoebe's not going to be burning at the stake anytime soon.
Yeah. Paige wonders if she can cast the spell to get her own sneak preview about the promotion that she got offered. Piper tells Phoebe that she got it due to a spell, and Scott is getting the consequence. Cole says they need to vanquish Curzon before he becomes the next source and kills them all. Because, if you don't vanquish him, it doesn't matter what your premonitions say.
True. The crystal, at this point, points to a spot on the map that is across town. Piper tells her to bring the crystal so they can track him on the way, and they all get up to go.
Phoebe tells Cole to stay out of her bedroom unless he wants to get slapped again. Kisses him. He tells her to be careful. Paige asks if he's not coming with them, and he's like, I'm not a demon anymore. Can't do anything. And they leave. And as soon as they are out of sight, he walks to go off screen and flames out.
Yep.
It was a nice little, okay, they can't see me? Good, let's do this.
Yeah.
Kind of moment.
Back in the underworld, Cole flames in. He yells at the seer that she has betrayed him by sending Curzon to kill Phoebe. She's like, I did it for your own good. Your love for her is the only thing holding you back from accepting the full power of the source.
And then one of those little ropey fireball things of the source appears in his hand. She kind of backs up.
And he crosses his arms, and the fireball just floats in the air next to him.
It was great.
I loved it.
It was the best visual.
Here's threat, now me act casual while threat.
Yes, it was perfect.
Yeah.
She says that without the Charmed Ones, he'll be able to kill Curzon himself.
Yeah.
Once they're gone.
Yeah. He says that Phoebe can't die, or this soul will die, pointing at himself. Mm-hmm. And that Cole's love for Phoebe is the strength he needs to recapture what he lost. Of course, the seer sees that the source is trying to get through, because he's, switched perspectives, and says that he'll have to kill her eventually for their plan to work.
Cole says that it's her plan, not his, and he wants Phoebe alive. He then throws the fireball near her, it hitting the wall, saying that next time she betrays him, he won't miss. And then he flames out.
We cut back to the conservatory at the manor, and he flames in where old Phoebe is standing against a door frame as he's doing it. She's like, I've been expecting you. And then we cut to commercial break.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
It was so perfectly timed, perfectly done. It was wonderful.
We come back in right after we left, and old Phoebe asks if he's afraid that she'll tell the girls his secret.
He asks what she wants. She says she wants her life back. He says that she looks alive to him.
She's like, that's just on the outside. He's like, I can fix that. But she says he could never kill her, and even after the source took him over, a piece of him still loved her.
He says that love isn't always enough, but she tells him that they never got married, and once she found out that he was the source, she and her sisters vanquished him.
He asks why she's telling him all of this, and she says she spent most of her life wondering how things would have been different if they'd gotten married. He's like, well, that's too late. She's like, it might not be. And that's why I'm coming to you first.
She says she needs to know if there's a chance to save him. He says he's not sure. She wonders if he'd even try. He says that he wants to, but the source is too strong.
And she says she'll tell current Phoebe the truth and convince her to save him. Cole says that changing the future might make Phoebe or her sisters die sooner, and she tells him that magic happens for a reason, and she has to trust that she's meant to change this.
He asks if she thinks she's meant to save him. She tells him that current Phoebe reminded her that she had hope once, and that they had love once, so she's doing it to keep her from living the life of regret that she's lived. And then Curzon appears and asks if he's intruding. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I break up this moment?
Yes. We cut to a street somewhere where Piper, Phoebe, and Paige are parked, annoyed that they have apparently lost Curzon.
Piper has added a short, dark jacket to her outfit. Phoebe has added a long, dark jacket to hers, and Paige has on her brown jacket.
They lay the map on the hood of the car, and Paige starts scrying,
bringing our tally up to 9 for the season and 14 for the series.
The scry shows him at the house. Well, the scry points to a point on the map, which they say is the house. Yeah. We all know.
Yeah.
That's never the case twice.
No.
They're worried about getting back in time, and Piper looks at Paige because she's had an idea that Paige can open them back.
Paige, of course, isn't so sure about that idea, but Piper reminds her she was able to do it that morning.
Paige is like, yeah, alone, from one level of the manor to another, not across town with 2 other people.
Phoebe is worried about Curzon killing Cole and asks her to try.
So they all join hands.
This is my favorite scene.
Paige orbs out with Phoebe, and then when Piper says, hey!
The orb comes back and grabs her.
Yeah.
It was my favorite scene. Like, I want that as a gift so bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Back at the manor, Curzon throws an energy ball at Cole. He flies back, breaking like a table in the corner of the conservatory on his way down.
That brings our FAQ up to 13 for the season and 62 for the series.
Cole throws a fireball at Curzon but misses, and old Phoebe helps Cole up, which is a very hilarious visual.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, this old lady helping this young man up. Curzon disappears and reappears behind them, holding his sword.
In the sitting room, I think.
Holding the sword. He charges at them. Old Phoebe sees him coming and spins Cole so that she gets stabbed through the back instead of him getting stabbed at all. But it's a fucking sword. It should have gone through both of them.
Yes,
just
it should have.
Saying. Curzon pulls the sword out, swings it at Cole.
Cole grabs him and they struggle across the room. They break one of the stained glass windows that's on the door.
And the sword is not covered in blood at all.
Nope.
Just saying.
Well, you know, she's a dry old hag.
Apparently so.
The girls orb in, and Piper gets a piece of paper from her pocket, and they say the spell.
Hell threw you from its inner core, but earth won't hold you any more. Since heaven cannot be your place, your flesh and blood we now erase. I don't know why, but I like that one so much.
That one was good, yeah.
That was really good.
You know, it tells a story.
It does. It does.
Curzon is then vanquished in some lovely fire while standing in front of the one wicker couch.
Yes.
And screaming.
Yeah. Current Phoebe goes over to old Phoebe, yells for Leo.
Cole says she saved him, meaning old Phoebe. Mm-hmm. And old Phoebe says, there's your answer. She kind of like pulls current Phoebe's hands around her face. And then Leo orbs in with young Phoebe. He rushes over and tries to heal her, but she's already gone. Although he started healing, and then we get a shot of her face, and it does move.
Yeah, you know. Old and young Phoebe then disappear. Paige is confused, but Piper says that the spell played out because Phoebe heard what she needed to hear.
We cut to an exterior night shot of the manor. Piper,
seemingly later that night.
Yeah. Piper, Paige, and Leo are in the kitchen.
Leo has just removed the gingham overshirt, so we can see that his lovely gray shirt has like some tan piping. It's actually a really nice looking shirt on him. Piper has changed into a white t-shirt that had a 5 on it and some sort of name, but I couldn't see what it was. And plaid pajama bottoms, and her hair is pulled back into a lovely little ponytail. And Paige, Paige is in a long-sleeve, slightly cropped, light blue shirt that has these little, like, black fabric flaps on the shoulders, and what looks to be a large face in black on the front. And it looked like it was possibly, like, the Crow, or like Robert Smith from The Cure. Like it was a very interesting face. And she has paired this with what we only saw for just a second as she was leaving the room, what looked to be light purple pants and a dark belt. It was an interesting color combo that was happening.
Yeah.
And her hair is pulled back into 2 little partial ponytails, just enough to keep her hair out of her face.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the hair.
It's very cute when she does that.
Yeah.
I think she has this hairstyle again, like at the end of the 4th season.
Okay.
You'll see it. Paige wonders when she'll be allowed to orb up there, but Leo tells her not to be in such a rush. She should be proud of what she accomplished. She saved the day.
Paige laments not being able to save everyone, meaning old Phoebe, but Leo tells her that there's always time to change the future. And then Piper walks over with a very large tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Yeah.
It was like a gallon tub.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen a tub of Ben & Jerry's that big. Like, if they sell... I don't think they sell them around here. But if they do, I need to find some Chunky Monkey, like, ASAP. I need a gallon of Chunky Monkey in my life. Just saying. It is the best one. I love Chunky Monkey.
I am entirely partial to 3 flavors. Pistachio, because pistachios. Americone Dream, because Colbert. And Cherry Garcia, which I discovered because no one in college would buy that one, so the, like, apartment convenience store always had a bunch in the freezer, so you could always get it. You could maybe occasionally get Americone Dream, but you could never get, like, Chunky Monkey or Half Baked or anything else. It was just those 2, and mostly the one.
Cherry Garcia is my mother's favorite.
It's so good.
But Chunky Monkey is where it's at. I love...
What's in that one?
It's banana ice cream with pieces of chocolate.
I didn't realize it was banana.
Yeah.
I should try that.
Chunky Monkey.
I need to try that.
It's so good. So good. It's banana ice cream and chunks of chocolate in it. And it's just...
Oh, I'd try that, but I don't think it would become my favorite, because I have my favorites.
It's so good.
And then, of course, I have the gelato tub from, like, Jewel.
The reason that I really
Breyers, I think?
Yeah, the reason that I really like Chunky Monkey is it's a banana that doesn't taste like Laffy Taffy banana.
Okay, so it's a...
It's like
so
good
it's a
banana.
Cavendish.
Yeah. It's
not a Claude Michel.
Yeah. It's the current banana, not the old banana.
Deep cut banana history for y'all.
Yep. That's why I like Japanese banana candy, because it tastes like current banana.
Yes, like
not
Cavendish's.
Old banana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people don't know that.
No,
the Laffy Taffy banana is what bananas used to taste like.
Yep. Yeah, just Google Cavendish banana history, and you'll find some shit.
Yeah. Anyway, Paige wonders about the way that Phoebe died. Piper tells her that Phoebe's not going to let her future turn out that way, because, I know Phoebe. She's not going to do it.
Paige asks about young Phoebe going back to her time with all the knowledge of the future. And Piper's like, Grams will just do some hocus pocus and erase it as soon as she starts talking about it.
And I love Paige's like, that's nice.
That's
and
Grams.
It was the best moment. Like, the best little like, yep, Grams would do that. She would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Paige takes a single bite of ice cream, then says she's done and going to bed since she has to change her own future in the morning.
As she heads for the door, Piper asks what she chose to do about the promotion. Paige says she's going to turn it down because the 3 Phoebes made her realize that her magic changed Scott's future and not hers, and that's not fair.
Although technically changing Phoebe's future would change a lot of other people's futures.
Yep.
But that's splitting a hair that they did not cut.
Very true. And then she says one of my favorite lines in this episode from her, I did the rhyme, I will do the time.
She says goodnight and then leaves. And Leo asks what Piper thinks Phoebe is going to do about Cole, and Piper replies that they aren't going to have to wait 40 years to find out. We cut to Phoebe's bedroom, and Phoebe is there in the same outfit as before, looking at the photo of her and Cole that her older self had been looking at earlier. Cole walks in the same outfit as before, with the jacket on. She's happy that he came back, because she wasn't sure if he would, and she sits on the bed. She says that she's been having some crazy thoughts about them, and she was wondering if he had been having them too. She then realizes that she never told him why she cast the spell, and says it was to help her decide if she was going to marry him or not. And he looks, like, slightly disappointed. But then she asks if he still wants to marry her. He's like, yeah, that's still a part of my plans. Way to word that.
Uh-huh. She says it's still a part of hers, even though she still has cold feet, but that her past self reminded her of Cinderella and her future self was willing to die for him. Oh, boy.
Uh-huh. Cole says that he is, of course, willing to die for her, and she says she wants to ask a question and get a straight answer.
He agrees. She asks if there's something about him that she doesn't know and that he's not telling her.
There's a pause where he sits next to her on the bed, looks her in the eyes, and says, no. And then they hug, and the image becomes what the seer is seeing in a vision. And she smiles, and we go to end credits.
It was a very nice little moment, because it was very funny, though, because the vision kind of cuts out because Phoebe has put her arm around him.
Yeah.
And the vision pulls back as he's putting his arm around her.
Yeah.
It was nice. The way that they cut that was really nice.
Uh-huh.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
So, before we get to the ratings, IMDb credits someone as Demon Number 1. But I did not see the guy in the entire show. When we saw Curzon with the demons around him, I was staring at those guys, trying to find this face. Could not find it. But Jason Matthew Smith, born in 1972 in Indiana, with 35 acting credits between 1993 and 2016. I have no idea where he was supposed to be in the show, but I wanted to make sure to mention him just in case he was there and I missed him, because he was in the credits on IMDb for the show.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I didn't see if he was in the credits for the show because I did not watch them.
That's fair.
You know. But, yeah, I did not see his face, at all.
Mm-hmm.
Did not do it. So, on to our ratings.
I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10 applique albums.
And I am giving this an 8 out of 10 bitter old ladies. It was the one thing that stood out the most, you know?
Yeah.
You know? So, with ratings done, we're on to outfits. The girls were mostly in the same thing the entire episode, and I didn't mind those outfits. So those are,
I actually kind of like old Phoebe's outfit the best. Yeah. It was cozy.
It was definitely very old lady chic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a little, Western blanket.
Yeah, a little bit. So, with ratings and outfits done, that means we're on to social media stuff.
Yeah.
You can email any questions, comments, or queries to charmchats@gmail.com.
And you can always find the links to whatever we mentioned in today's episode over at charmedchats.com, which is where you can find the links to our Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, Redbubble, and Patreon pages.
And if you would like to join the Discord, all you have to do is email us with the phrase, "We're the power of 2 plus blue," and we will send you an invite link. We hope to see you all in the Discord. It's a fun place.
Mm-hmm.
So, until next time,
sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite.
Bye.
Bye.
Piper, Phoebe, and Paige, kicking evil's ass weekly in this war they wage. So we'll see where it's at next time with Kendra and Kat on Charm.